Terry. Okay. Sorry, guys. Actually, I'm not sorry. This is how the video started now. He should be good listening to me. But okay, so hi y'all. Welcome back to Ani's World. Today I wanted to talk about decoding, coding, in order to work in your favor. And I want to talk basically like just break everything down for you guys. As of recently, I have been like, I want to say this past, I'm trying to think so I'm not like lying. This past like this since the beginning, since the end of last year, I have been focusing a lot on mentalism and more scientific things versus my usual magic and spirituality. So one thing is I watch Shara, which I love Shara's spiritual page. Probably like one of the best things I've seen on YouTube. But a lot of the stuff that she's doing is she's just reading books. So that's exactly what I started doing. I started going out and getting the books that she reads. Sorry guys. I want there to be enough lighting. Um Sorry. So yeah, she usually just reads a whole bunch of books on the occult, different information like alchemy and stuff. And a lot of the stuff you can just look up online. So that's what I started to do. And as I was researching, like I started reading the Complete Idiot's Guide to Alchemy. That's a really good one, which I feel like it more so just breaks down. Like in the beginning of it, it's just breaking down so far like the history of alchemy, where it came from, how it started, blah 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 blah, stuff like that, right? Now, I recently started reading this book called The Four Agreements, which my mom actually had this book in her house. I don't know if she ever read it, but um it's a really good book. I really enjoy everything that the book is saying. And basically, it starts off talking about these four agreements, and when I first started reading it, I was like, by the way, I'm doing my makeup right now, so if you see me kind of moving around a lot, that's why. So yeah, when I first started reading it and it was breaking down the four agreements, it starts with the four agreements that you make at birth, like who your parents are, what city you're born in, what your name is. It's these agreements that you're making without, it starts off basically without your consent, even though I personally think a lot of us made our decisions in the heavens and we just can't remember because it's a different frequency. But yeah, so it starts talking about the agreements that we made at birth, identifying ourselves, following these laws that were given to us, that literally we just, and it starts as a child. We People just tell us to do things, we listen and we do it. They tell us that this is what it is and this is what it's not, and we believe them, right? So I love the way that the book broke it down, because this book really is low-key talking about alchemy without using the word alchemy, right? Again, I'm doing my makeup right now, so if I'm a little all over the place, I get a pass today. So basically, in this book, it starts describing, again, the four agreements. Now, what it's showing you through these four agreements is how we are just unconsciously being taught to accept things and agree to things that aren't even true. And even as it speaks in the book, it talks about how in the world that we live in, beautiful is never going to be beautiful enough. Ugly might be seen as angelic in this world that we live in. It's all about the agreements that you're making and what you see to be true, right? So since we've been taught from birth to just agree to things and not really question it, we already set ourselves up for failure, right? Now, the Fourth Agreements is really a book talking about how to decode, because one, you have to understand the agreements that you already made. So you're going to have to decode history, decode the laws, stuff like that, philosophy, how rich people stay rich, stuff like that, right? And as you're decoding the world around you, you will start to realize, okay, I don't agree to a lot of the agreements that I subconsciously made, that I made maybe when I started as a child. Like I was a child, they just told me that, so I thought that that was true, but this might be the agreement, but that don't make it true for me, okay? Because we have to go with our own free will, our what resonates with our soul. And the laws and whatever this world set up probably don't resonate with a lot of our souls because it wasn't designed for us. It was designed to benefit somebody else, right? So basically, blah 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 blah. And in this book, it just basically, and like I said, so we're gonna decode, and it's kind of using small little like I don't know if the word is metaphor, similes, whatever, but small little scenarios that you can compare to a bigger grand scheme, right? And one of the things as you're decoding the world that you'll realize is that you can make your own code, your own agreements, because you have your own soul. You can either have a destiny or make your own destiny. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're the creator of your world, of you, of your universe, right? It's called history for a reason. So the whole grand scheme of this entire topic that I'm talking about is agree to what works for you. It doesn't matter what law is in place, what's going on in the world around you. I promise you, when you have your mindset and your frequency and you are able to decode things, and the most important thing about these agreements that we make is that we have to believe them, right? So if you make an agreement that you're a high vibrational being sent to this earth to do some magical stuff, if you don't fully believe that, the agreement is not made. The agreement is not made until you believe it. Now, here's the difference between what I'm teaching you on this channel and what the rest of the world already did to you, right? When you're a child, your agreement is heavily manipulated because you're just learning from people around you, and what they say goes. So you are able to be indoctrinated from the time that you're on earth. I'm not indoctrinating you, and I'm also giving you pure free will. I'm not manipulating you to go by a certain lifestyle or what I'm saying or what I'm reading or what I'm teaching. I'm just simply telling you that this is an option if you want to get to where you want to get, right? So basically, um, so basically, when you're making agreements with yourself, and I want to start it as small, like just like the way the book described, if someone comes up to you and says, "You're so ugly," if you believe them and you agree with them, you will then over time start to believe you are ugly. If someone says you need to quit that, it's never going to go anywhere. If you believe them and you agree with them, you will quit and it will never go anywhere. Now, that's simple stuff, right? Now, let's go on a deeper, more complex level. If you live in a city, in a state that is in what is that word? I don't even need a big word for it. That is installing stupid laws that don't benefit you, that don't work for you. You don't have to agree to that. It might be happening in everyone else's world, in everyone else's universe, but it won't happen in yours because you didn't agree to it, you don't believe in it, and you literally believe that it's not going to happen to you, it's not possible, it's not going to affect you, therefore it won't. Like, the worst things don't happen to us because we don't want them to. Duh. Okay, now this is a really, really interesting thing that I also learned in this book that I think is going to be really helpful for like victims of abuse. I'm sorry, my son is he's louder than me sometimes. But of victims of abuse, right? So, for example, here's the thing, everything is mental. So if you're staying in an abusive relationship where someone beats on you and hits you, it's because mentally, and this is what it said in the book, Fourth Agreements, mentally, you're beating up on yourself, probably worse. So if this person beats up on you a little bit less, they might be beating your behind physically, but mentally, like their effect on you is still less than your effect on the way that you mentally abuse yourself. You will stay with that person because you treat yourself worse all up in here. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you have good thoughts, good vibrations about yourself, you think highly of yourself, and you don't think you deserve things like abuse, being cheated on, you don't feel like you need to settle for certain things, then if someone is disrespecting you for the first time, you might be like, all right, that's that. I know my worth. You get what I'm saying? But here's the thing, when we which I think is really important, what to teach like trauma victims, abuse victims, is that remember, this all starts at birth. So from birth, people are able to tell you who you are and what you're agreeing to, and you're subconsciously just being taught to accept things that are not of you. You get what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing about that, right? Falling back into victim blaming, trauma, and it doesn't have to just be in a relationship. It can be you abuse yourself in the streets. You kept going back to the streets. It can be you abuse yourself with drugs. Whatever it is, there's a reason though, right? So if we can get people to understand that from the time you're born, you're already being forced to think things that aren't real, to resonate things resonate with things that are not for you, you might, if you don't have a strong mind, you might get stuck in situations. And when I say stuck, I mean not able to get out. That's the part that kind of, okay, your mentalism is not all the way there, right? Now, that is kind of what leads you up into those how do I say, scenarios, circumstances. Now, going a little bit deeper without really going too deep, that makes sense of why a world would create why this specific world would create itself to do that. Because if they can get you to believe anything, and people are mean to each other and low vibrational and can just walk around saying you're ugly and you own it, and now you're in therapy because you think you're ugly and not worth it. You get what I'm saying? And guess who pays for it? Everything is always going to be about money. And that's why I think this generation of men need to understand that. And I think because it's like they're starting to slowly see that, okay, it really probably isn't about us. It really is about money. And if we cannot provide and create stability and healthy lifestyles and ways, then we really have no purpose here. And that's just the truth. That's just what it is. That's why even on this channel, like when people ask me, they're like, oh, are you in a relationship? Hell no. Have you seen what's out here? Okay, until I get exactly what the hell I want, no, absolutely not. And deal breakers are easy for me, okay, baby? If I don't like it, I ain't going. That's just me. But yeah, like, again, everything runs on money. So just using those 4 agreements, and how you can, if you want to, decode them, change your mindset, use it for your benefit, whatever the case is, it still goes back to money. And that's what I need y'all to understand, especially when it comes to spirituality. People think it's time to let go of tools that are meant to benefit you and money that gives you freedom. It ain't time for that when it comes to spirituality. Being spiritual does not equal being broke, okay? We're not living in medieval times. Is that the word for it? Whatever, I don't care. It's just not the same. It's not the same. And I really feel like they try to teach people that so that people can be spiritually intelligent, but with no wisdom and not able to use it, and with no money, therefore have no freedom. Sorry guys, when I do my eyebrows, I have to focus. I'm sorry guys. So I say sorry a lot, not really because I'm sorry, but really because I know I bounce a lot and people can't keep up with me. So I'm gonna start saying excuse me instead. But yeah, and in these, and again, if you want to get paid, I already am at the point where I have the mental piece of everything. But I need 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? I got it already. It's waiting for me to get to it. But yeah, so if you want to use this type of stuff to like make more money, get what you want out of life, you can. It's literally all about your beliefs. And That's why education is important. I feel like you can't simply just study this area. Like, you have to kind of also study this area and then how this area affects the rest of the world, or else you won't be able to believe that this is physically possible. But it really is mind over matter. We really are like energy, electricity. That's why we can we can even communicate with our phones. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know. Everything is alive, everything does have energy, everything is a tool. You can transmute each tool to your benefit. Now, again, I did also want to add on to this, so I was having this conversation with myself earlier, that there's this thing called a rabbit hole when you're going deep into spirituality, right? A rabbit hole basically means that you have consumed so much information that you are basically mind fucked. I'm being like completely myself today on this YouTube channel. Usually I like to keep it a little bit more like cute, classy, but as you can see, I'm fully being myself. I'm just chilling, swearing. My son is here. We really just vibing out. But that is what the rabbit hole is. It's when you consume so much information that it just basically shocks you to the point where you might get depression because you know so much truth. Now you know the truth, and the truth is now affecting you. Now here's the thing, right? I always like to bring it all back. Even with me bouncing around, I will bring it back. If you're going down a rabbit hole from spirituality and you're getting depressed from the information that you're processing, that means that you believe it to be true. And when I say this, right, I mean that you accept it into your reality. You believe it. You give it power instead of taking the power away from it. You're not supposed to learn a whole bunch of information just to say, oh my God, that's the horrible truth and it's true. This is the horrible life we live. That's not the point of educating yourself. That is not the point. It's really not to mind fuck yourself. Now, again, going back to the agreements, alchemy, stuff like that, you can educate yourself without accepting everything that you've learned. Okay, you can accept it for others because others have already accepted it. But once you start saying, oh my God, the world is so bad, I'm so tired of paying bills and being a slave and doing this, and the government this, and the food is poison, and this, that, and boom, 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 you start to really psych yourself out. Hi, I don't know who that is, but hi. Say something else but hello. Otherwise, I think you're like a robot or something. But I'm sorry. I'm not really reading the comments today because I get too distracted with the comments like right now, and I like to just get to the point. But so when you are learning things, new information is being taken in. Sadly, the truth will shock you, and that's just it is what it is. That's always what it's been. They always lied. They always did things to work in their favor. Can you really blame them? But it is your choice of whether you want to accept these things or transmute the information that you're learning to work for your benefit. It's up to you. It's up to you if you want to think that you're just a slave, a part of a system, or if you want to create your own reality. I mean, what do they do in order to run the entire world, infiltrate our systems, and do all the stuff that they do without getting karma? They don't believe it's coming. How do you think they stop all the witches and the manifestations and all this other extra stuff? They don't believe it's coming. Why do you think they don't go to jail? They don't think it's coming. They ain't never going to jail in their head unless they guilty. Unless they're guilty, and that's what they accept. That's the agreement that they accept to. Then that's what it is. But it never happens because they already studied this stuff. It's been passed down generation to generation, heritage to heritage. They literally pass down each other gold to themselves. So they have nothing to worry about. This information that they're learning is embedded in their brains as they teach you Christianity, all this extra crap to keep you stuck in a loophole that you don't need to be in to benefit them. Do it the way they do it. Like, I don't know. So one of the things that I've really been learning as of recently is being selfish is an act of love in my world. I truly believe that being selfish is an act of love. Because, again, going back to the agreements that we made, right? If we know we live in an unfair world where people lie to get what they want, people manipulate this, that, and the third, how would being selfish be bad? Why would you play the moral games in a world that don't really have no morals? Like you can still have morals and do things your way, but if you think that being selfish is a bad thing, I'm here to tell you that it's not. Being selfish is probably the most positive thing that you can do to yourself, especially like having a narcissistic kind of mindset. And when I say narcissistic, I don't mean be a narcissist. I mean have the mind like one. They don't care. They do things for their benefit. They do things that make them feel good, that work out in their favor, and you can be even smarter than them if you want to. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you can have a narcissistic mindset and be a really good person, but it's just boundaries. That's really all it is. Like, it's nothing crazy to it. I'm not saying no new science or nothing. Well, I'm saying science, but it's not new. But yeah, I feel like being selfish is an act of love. Um, I think it's an act of self-love, and self-love leads to other people loving themselves. Therefore, it's love for everybody. I don't see why not. He's really chilling, and I love this for him. But yeah, I actually really like being selfish nowadays. I used to be a very selfless person, and I had this conversation with myself also, like just like with the story or whatever in the Bible. I'm not putting down in any religion or anything, but I was said to myself when I was younger, I said, well, who the hell would sacrifice themselves on a cross and get beat to death in the name of what? That don't sound like nothing good. That don't sound like it's in nothing in the name of something. How is that? How can that translate to something good? So like, you know what I'm saying? So on a smaller scale, that's why nobody, well, women, I shouldn't say nobody, but high vibrational divine people should not ever be sacrificing themselves for the greater good of other people, or then they can't be great and divine. Like, and then what would that do for the world? That's another lame person on earth. We have enough. Like, come on now. Be for real. Be for real with yourself. Like, self-sacrificing, I think, is the most dumbest thing that people ever want to do. Like, especially when people are like, yeah, like, I'll do anything for the person that I love, blah blah blah, but you won't even do anything for you. That is stupid as hell. So you telling me you're willing to sacrifice your entire life, all your time, all your resources to show someone that you love them. So you really just want to be accepted because you don't know how to love yourself. You can love anything else but yourself. That's stupid as hell. I think that that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But what works for you works for you. Not everybody loves themselves, okay? Not everybody do. That's just the truth about it. Like, that's why I let a lot of people be. I just let them be, because not everybody is me. Okay. Like, listen, this planet earth cracks me up, and especially the people who try to point that narrative and especially teach women that if they're not doing that, submitting, which literally the definition of that word submission, submissive, means putting others before yourself. So, if woman is the most vulnerable thing next to children, why would they put everyone else before themselves? Do the math. Do the math for me, baby, because it ain't mathing for me. When shit don't make sense, I don't listen. It's common sense, bro. It's not common, but it is still common sense. Exactly. That's always the foundation of spirituality, loving yourself, creating your own reality. Because if you're a true person of witchcraft, spirituality, and all this other stuff, and people are out here talking about some, oh, this is happening in the world, and this person is spiritually attacking me, and all blah 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 blah. That makes no sense. If you're supposed to be in your power, knowing thyself, vibrating at a high frequency, how would anybody have power over you? That it, if stupid was a person, because what the hell are you talking about? You know, sometimes you're like, sometimes sadly people aren't exactly who they think they are, because that doesn't make any sense. And even if you are made to be that person, you might be that person in the near future. With that mindset, you was not that person now. The hell are you talking about? People are crazy talking about some, oh my goodness, and the government this, and they're taking away this, they're doing that. You believe that? That's what you believe, that's what you're giving power to, then that's what it is. Like, don't cry about it. You agreed with it. They told you something, you agreed. Facts. Yes, facts. And that's why what but and I was also having this conversation with myself, like, I can tell people things all I want. And this is why I don't go as deep. Like right now, I'm here for people who want to hear it. But I don't go as deep anymore because the information that I'm giving you, I've been studying since I was in elementary school. It wasn't just, oh, I woke up one day and started studying alchemy. No. In elementary school, I did my first mermaid spell. You know what I'm saying? I was doing magic at a young age, but I didn't understand science. I wasn't doing alchemy until the age of 22 years old. So when people ask me certain things, I'm like, I don't know exactly how you want me to teach you all that. You have to read books and study and decode things and do what I do. Like, I constantly like to talk because I notice that I can read information whatever I want, however much I want, but when I speak things, I'm able to connect things a lot better and deeper and decode things. So I like to speak to myself a lot because that's how I process information. But a lot of people think that, like, you're just gonna be able to like read all of this in 1 hour and fully understand stuff that I've been literally studying for 15 years, 15, 14 years. It's not gonna just like drop down in your lap. But what I will say is, when it comes to like alchemy and studying that type of stuff, sorry, I've been on my spiritual journey since 15 and I'm now 28. I always tell folks I can teach you whatever, but the best thing to do is your own research before listening to someone else. Exactly, because spirituality is very personal, if you will. It's personal for you. Your spiritual journey is not going to be the same as somebody else's, so they're not going to resonate with what you resonate with. Like, some people spiritually can are good with just doing magic. Magic is boring to me now. There's something deeper going on. You know what I'm saying? Or for example, and this is one of the most important pieces, is that if I'm still studying this and you're still studying this and we've been doing it for a long time, you don't just learn information and it doesn't automatically, like, it will resonate with you, but it doesn't automatically install in your brain, because as I said in the beginning of this video, we're not indoctrinating ourselves. We're not forcing ourselves to do anything. We're simply seeking information. It's different when from the time that you were born, you've been indoctrinated into a system, into a mindset, into a religion. You get what I'm saying? For the greater good of somebody else. But once you understand that that's what it is, and you're able to study things outside of that and how to do what they did for yourself, it slowly but surely starts to make sense. But even when it makes sense, doesn't mean that you're going to wholeheartedly believe it, because you've been brainwashed and programmed for so long. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can't really like just teach anyone off the top of your head how to do this and how to do that. They have to study it in order for it to make sense so that they believe it. You know what I'm saying? Because what I just say, when shit don't make sense, I get going. I get gone real fast. Because what the fuck did you say? I learned that once you may feel like you've learned it all, the rabbit hole always gets deeper. It's like infinite knowledge. Yeah, that's one thing that I've been learning as well. So it's funny. So for a while in spirituality, I kind of took a step back because I was bored with magic. I really stopped doing magic as much because I was bored. Like, the only time I did magic, honestly, is like manifesting good things, like as usual, or when someone pissed me off. Now it's time for me to pull out a candle or something. But I got bored with it, and that's when I started to seek more knowledge because I knew something else was there. You hear what I'm saying? So I totally agree with you. Your spiritual journey is never gonna end. Okay, guys. I feel like my makeup looks all right now. So today I did my press-ons today because I got my nails done once, then my friend did my other set and I hated it after. Like, she did a good job, but like it was time to change it, so popped them shits off, and I didn't want to get my nails done again because I really hate getting my nails done. Like, I'm gonna go get my feet done because I actually really like when people touch my feet, but my nails, like drilling them and sawing them and stuff like that, I really don't like that process. Like, I don't find anything fun about going to get my nails done, honestly. Thank you. Where are you from? I would love to know where you're from. Like, there's not as many people in here today, probably because it's Friday and everyone's doing their last day of work, but I'm not in that matrix. I'm in a different one. I'm in a different matrix. Also, I wanted today to step into that talk about, actually, I don't want to talk about that yet because I don't know who's watching my channel right now, and I don't want to be like giving out information to the wrong people, and y'all wouldn't even know where to start to find it. So if I tell you, then it's my fault. I'm from Florida, which is why my name is Florida. That is so funny. I love that for you. I'm from Boston. Have you ever heard about Boston? I feel like low-key everyone knows what Boston is, but they only know it's for like schools and stuff. But like, baby, it's still the East Coast vibes, okay? It is still that East Coast urban vibe over here, no matter how preppy it gets. Which I love both because I grew up in Copley Square, but I'm originally from Mattapan, which is a hood in Boston. They used to call it Murder Pan, but I really spent like my growing up years going to school and stuff like that. I spent it in Copley Square, which is like one of like the richest parts of Boston. So I really like that mixture of both. Of course, LOL, but I don't really know what's out there. I mean, we have Harvard, we have a lot of colleges. That's why it has like that what do you call that? When people get that impression or something, whatever, it has the reputation of like white preppy kind of vibe because we have like the best colleges and stuff like that, the best hospitals, good healthcare, great opportunity at work, honestly, in general, because the schools out here are busting and the job opportunities are great as well. It's like I would describe Boston as like a calmer, smaller version of New York, but it's starting to become just as expensive. Oh, look. Which I'm okay with, honestly, the world getting more expensive because that just means I'm gonna get more money. That's really how I look at it. If inflation go up, that means my pockets are inflated as well. Hey, Poopy. But yeah, so I did want to tell you the 2 books that I'm reading, guys, so that if you're interested, you can read them. They're on YouTube. So funny thing, right? I was been wanting to read The Complete Idiot Guide to Alchemy. I never did it because I felt like it was lazy for me to just look it up on YouTube and read it. I love college cities. There's always something to do for our age. I agree. I do. I think like one of the best parts of Boston is the food. I think we have great food. I think if you have the money or the mindset to get there, then you're gonna have fun. It's just really expensive. That's all it is. Unless you want to like go to the hood or something. But I don't. So, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So one of the books, I think it's called the 4 written agreements or the 4 agreements, but either way it's gonna pop up. But yeah, I was been supposed to read the book, but I never did because I felt like it was lazy if I just go YouTube the book. So I was gonna go to a bookstore or something and try to find it, but I started to realize everything is not bad. It's just like a tool for you to use. And I felt really stupid once I realized that I was not using something for my convenience to learn. So I picked it up on YouTube. I do the, what do you call that? The caption title, whatever, like the captions, whatever, because I still do like to read at the same time. But yeah, that's honestly where I looked up the books that I'm reading on YouTube. And then the other book is called The Complete Idiot Guide to Alchemy, which I think I might make a video about alchemy soon, but I feel like I'm in the first part, so I'm not fully sure, but I feel as though the book more tells like the history of alchemy, where it came from, the background, and then the basis of it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, everything about is about like decoding things yourself and figuring out things for yourself. So I'm sorry if you can't really hear. Excuse me if you can't really hear me like that, because my son, he is loud. I really want to show YouTube my son, but probably won't do that. A video of alchemy after learning would be, yeah. I think honestly. So here's the thing, like the process of learning is me just growing more knowledge in the same area that I already understand the basis of. And then, like I said, I've been studying since I was in elementary school. So when I started looking up alchemy and stuff like that and reading about it, it was pretty easy for me to connect the pieces because I studied Egyptian history for so long, as you can see. But yeah, alchemy, I feel like alchemy is something that you guys honestly can learn with me. It's just mentalism. It's physics, it's mentalism. I feel like the real difference between alchemy and like what I used to be into is I didn't understand. Like I used to use, like I remember having an Instagram post where I said mind over matter. But I was mad young, and sometimes I'll be saying shit because I knew it, but I wasn't really remembering. Like I'm just saying stuff that makes total sense as I got older, totally connected. That's why I be letting myself rock out. That light, hold on, I'm gonna turn off my kitchen light. But yeah, alchemy is literally what I was talking about in this video. Transmuting things. When you look it up, like Indians say like it's how to transmute anything into gold. That's literally what the physical part of alchemy was, like the chemistry part of it. They were turning things into gold. But I don't know when we'll have access to that type of technology again. So for now, we're using the mental piece of alchemy. And what I love about studying alchemy is that I can tell a lot of the celebrities, politics, people in power that we were taught to look up to, they simply use alchemy. They use things from the occult, like Freemason, shit like that. And they just use it for their own benefit to work for them. Pretty much like, when how they say knowledge is power, stuff like that. Terry, Terry, Terry. Terry, Terry, Terry. Terry, Terry, Terry. Terry, Terry, Terry. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Why you do that smile and then stop smiling? That was so fake. Was that a fake smile? Was that a fake smile? Okay, guys. I'm trying to finish my makeup on camera to complete the video. Maybe some earrings would do me justice today. But yeah, that's what I just really want to sit down and talk to you guys about. on this channel, and I said this in one of my old videos, like everything that I talk to you guys about, I'm already learning, doing currently, and getting positive results from. So, like, if you ever come to my channel, you don't have to question the authenticity of what I'm saying. I'm already doing it. It's working, so it works. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. There was one other thing. Terry, what was it? Can you remember? Every time I ask you to remember or find something for me, you don't do it. Damn, what the hell was it? Bless you. Bless you. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Probably save it for the next video. But oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I wanted to talk about like therapy, depression and stuff like that. What I've learned about depression is that depression is simply, and anxiety and stuff is simply self-absorbed, prideful people. I promise you that's what it is. And when I realized this, I was like, oh, snap. Because when I was younger, I suffered from that a lot. And one thing I will say, when I was younger, super prideful, super attention seeking, all about me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, someone who's self-absorbed, who has anxiety, honestly, of course, you're going to think everyone's looking at you bad and looks at you crazy when you leave the house because you're self-absorbed. You got to transmute that into positivity. Swear to God, it was so funny though when I realized it. Cause like this guy was coming to me talking about oh my God, I'm so depressed, I'm so this, I'm so that. But I'm like, just like a couple of weeks ago, you thought you was hot shit. Now you went through a breakup and you like breaking, literally. And I'm like, okay, that is what they mean when they say like depression and stuff just comes from you being self-absorbed and selfish, your pride, your ego. Because how does someone leaving you make you depressed? So stupid. Why would they stay? Who told you that they was staying in the first place? Like, but you know, so I don't really believe no longer in stuff like therapy and all that extra stuff, like, oh, unlocking trauma and working through it. I don't believe in that. I feel like you should just transmute it and make up something different in your head. Did you poop? I smell poop. But I'm about to get off live, y'all. I guess my son's gonna be in the camera real quick. So funny. But yeah, depression is not real. Anxiety is not real. You're just super self-absorbed and ignorant. Oh my God, that was so funny to me though. Like, okay, honestly, I'm not even trying to be desensitized or anything, but I'm like, emotions are negative in my opinion. But unless you have emotional intelligence. Even like when people pass away, right? Like I remember when my dad died, I was always spiraling. But here's my thing about it is, who said that they're going to live forever? And who said that they were living for you to be happy? Like their absence shouldn't hurt you that much. You should be able to transmute that into a positive thing that they're able to pass on, go to a higher dimension, go to a higher frequency. Especially for Christians, you guys said you believe in heaven. So what is there to really cry about? You know what I mean? Like, well, I shouldn't say cry, but what is there to really like self-loathe about because someone died? Like that should be a positive thing. I think we probably live in one of the lowest dimensions there is, the most lower vibrational dimension there is. So what is the problem with them passing on to a higher frequency? Like, I really don't understand how there's so much access to information and people are still ignorant. That's what I don't get. Like, I understand in the early 2000s, all this stuff was just coming out, and we were so busy on how to use these new tools that they showed us that we wasn't searching up. A lot of us wasn't searching up alchemy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But now that it's been out for so long, and my generation is now adults who have kids or who are in college, our parents are now grandparents, and we still don't get it. Like, come on now. That's why I always say, like, the stuff that they're showing us is not even entertainment, because a lot of us don't resonate with it, wouldn't do it in real life. Like, we listen to drill music talking about drugs and all this extra stuff, but a lot of us don't want to go to no jail for selling drugs. A lot of us don't sell drugs. So why would you listen to that? It's not entertaining because it's not entering you, it's not entering your world. It's a distraction. That's exactly what that is. Distracting you from seeking actual positive information and actually making the world work for you versus just taking anything handed to you and then saying everything sucks. Yeah, everything sucks because you haven't went out and looked for nothing. All right, I'm almost done with my makeup, y'all. And then I'm gonna be out because I need to change his butt. Yeah, so it's funny. I don't know if you ever heard about the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which I'm about to reread because I read some of it so long ago, but I never finished it. But that book will really change your opinion on death and stuff. Like, for example, I know this guy, his friend passed recently, and he's like, I keep having dreams about my friend, but I can't talk to him in the dream, and he won't talk to me. And what I explained to him, and which I like to explain in a super simple way because this is how I learned it. Okay, so when you have like a little hoopty, there's like a little thing that you can plug up to your car. You match it to the frequency of the radio. You can play whatever music you want, Bluetooth, whatever, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing for spirits, for vibrations. Frequencies have to match, right? So if someone dead is coming down into your dream, that means they're lowering their frequency to visit you. My dad used to do it to me all the time. But the difference was, crazy part was, I was able to talk to him even in what I felt was one of my lowest states. But if you can't talk to someone, a spirit who's like visiting you, or if you can't find a way to communicate with your spirits, it's because your vibration is just too low. Like, they're already lowering their vibrations from the heavens to come down and talk to you. So I don't know how much lower y'all think it's gonna get. The frequency gotta match. Just like when you plug up that little thing to the car, I forget what it's called, and you match that frequency and you play your music, it's the same thing, baby. It's science. Right? See, it's science. They then told us that it was mind over matter and all that type of stuff. Just like when they said the black gene is the dominant gene, that's why a lot of times in spirituality talk about the dark matter. Like, get into it. Get into it. Okay. I think I'm done. Oh, y'all, I look good. I'm sorry. I finished my makeup and I was feeling myself. I look good as fuck. Period. Vibrating high is definitely the key. I can't wait to study more though, which I think I already know how they do it overall. But I just think it's so interesting how people in power who destroy the world and stuff like that and do a whole bunch of horrible things, how are they vibrating high enough to attract things to them? Either that or high frequency might just be in certain people's soul contract, and you can probably still get whatever the fuck you want at a low frequency. You just gonna have to do low vibrational shit for it. Thank you. Okay, guys, so thank you for kicking it with me. This is my first basically hour-long YouTube video. My son did great. He was here the whole time, and he barely made any noise, so period to him. He didn't really cry. But thank you for watching. If you watch this later, I hope you enjoy the video. Like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. I have Cash Apps. I have all that. I have Instagrams. I'm a dancer. I do content, massages, OnlyFans, a whole bunch of different stuff to get money. Have a great day. Thank you, Florida.